Friends. Friends, 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 friends. This video, I'm telling you, it seemed like one disaster after the other to make. And not only that, but I had to edit out a bazillion times that I changed my mind. But I have a story to tell you. So let's get into this video, shall we? Woo! I really didn't want this to be a long video. As a matter of fact, in my mind, I had it all planned out. So let's start this video at the very beginning, when I had all of my costume on and how things transpired. I really wish that I had my video playing when my blush exploded all over me, but I had paused the video. But that's what happened. My blush exploded when I took the little insert out all over me, all over my pants, my hair, everything. Things just didn't go as planned. So after this part of the video that you're going to see, and all of the edited parts of me taking out the bazillion times that I changed my mind, we will get into putting on the makeup. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Happy Halloween. My name is Susie and my channel is called Light Fragments Oracle. I'm so happy that you are here on this Halloween. What do you guys do on Halloween? Well, my husband and I, we usually don't get any trick-or-treaters anymore. So what we do is we get a takeout and then we jump in his truck and we take off and we go to some of the spooky areas around where we live. And we take a ride. Sometimes we like to just watch the kids, although trick-or-treating is much earlier than it was when I was a kid. When I was a kid, my mom would make our costumes, she sewed them actually, and send us out the door with a pillowcase. And we would go everywhere and anywhere, walking in a group, collecting candy. It was safe to do that back then. But today, it's not as safe. And in some ways, that saddens me. It saddens me that we have to be so cautious of the fun that I used to have as a child. We used to gather as a group, and my mother would say, you guys have to be back by a certain time. And then we would come home and we would dump our candy out on the table and we would sort through it all. But today, it's different. Today, we have to worry about what might happen if we shipped our kids out by themselves. And that, to me, is such a tragedy. It takes away from the excitement that I used to experience when I was a child. These kids can't experience it. And I mean, it was spooky going out when it was dark, all dressed up for Halloween. Nobody thought about anything bad happening. But that's the world we live in today. But I want to showcase two new products that I got, and this is an old foundation, actually. This is L'Oreal Paris True Match Lumi Healthy Luminous Makeup. And this is the shade Nude Beige W3 Warm. I'm also going to try, I ordered, and I broke down, and I ordered these off of Temu. I said I wasn't going to order any more products off of Temu, but I get my underwear from there, because it's the best underwear that I have been able to find. And while I was on there, I decided to see what they had for makeup and what was on clearance. And these come in a pack of 3. So did you like my costume? Well, I wasn't about to put it on again today, since we are now in All Saints Day, or All Souls Day, as some people call it. But what I want to do is I want to get into the makeup, and I want to tell you a story, 2 stories rather, about my day last night and the culmination thereof, and a spooky story about a neighboring town next door. And if you get a chance, go look at my 9-second video that I posted yesterday. It's very short. I had to make it like a YouTube video size. I couldn't cut it down because you would not be able to see the orb in the video. But yeah, that started happening within this last 48-hour period, when the veil thins between the evening of October 30th into November 1st. And I thought that was apropos. So let's get into putting on the makeup. I talked to you guys about the Lumi W3 Warm. Before I put this on, I need to tell you that if you have oily skin, this isn't for you. This isn't for you. I didn't put on any skincare because I knew that it was going to be luminous. And I don't know if you can see, but I broke out right here. I broke out right here. And I broke out in another spot on my face, despite the fact that I thoroughly cleansed my skin after using it. So if you have oily skin, this is not for you. It is a beautiful foundation, particularly if you are an older woman or if you have dry skin. I have normal to dry skin. Not when I was younger, I had combination skin, and I used to get acne in my T-zone right here and on my chin and underneath. So I started to get it again. And I know it's because I used this foundation. So I'm going to shake this up a little bit. I like the packaging. This is the Lumi foundation. It is by L'Oreal. Generally, I love L'Oreal products. There's been a few that I really didn't care for, too heavy. And then I'm just going to squeeze 2 pumps on my hand. And I'm just going to dot it. It is a little bit warm for my skin, but I don't mind that. I looked at the neutral and I was like, yeah, that's not going to work for me. That almost, the neutral looking through the bottle almost looked like death. And might have been good for this video, but not something I want to wear all the time. Now, what I do is I have a little mole up here. Nobody can really see it with my bangs, but I like to cover it up. Then I usually take the rest of it and put it on my spots. I want to use all 2 pumps up. And then I'm going to use my Doll 10 foundation brush, which this is, I love this brush, as well as my IT Cosmetics. These are my 2 favorite foundation brushes. And I'm just going to pounce this in. Now, what did I notice when I wore this the day before yesterday? I noticed that it does gather in my fine lines and wrinkles, and why wouldn't it? It's a luminous foundation. And I'm a 66-year-old woman, and I have wrinkles. No, I don't do fillers. No, I don't do Botox. No, I don't I've never had any kind of surgery on my face. If you do, that's your prerogative, to each his her own. But I go by what would make me happy. And I don't really feel comfortable altering my looks. I believe in enhancing our looks the best we can, but I don't really believe in alterations. I leave that for clothing. This is a tough one right here, but lucky it's under my chin. I treated it last night, and I'll treat it again tonight. In a day or two, it'll be gone. And that's all that I put on for this foundation. I am going to take a little bit more, and I'm going to put it under. Now that's a tiny bit amount. I'm going to put it down my neck. This foundation is extremely lightweight, but it does gather in fine lines and wrinkles. The only way that you're going to see that is if you look in a magnifying mirror. So don't worry about it. Because it's lightweight, it's not going to look like chunks of foundation. It's very pretty, very pretty. And you can build this up, by the way. If you do not have the wrinkles that I have, you can build this up. Very pretty. Very pretty. It even did a pretty good job of covering my spots. Did a pretty good job. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to put a second coat on. I'm not going anywhere today. So far, I'm pleased with it. But I wouldn't go so far as saying that it's my favorite foundation. But I've never tried it. And so therefore I wanted to. I'm going to use my Covergirl Simply Ageless concealer as an eye cover. And I'm going to put a little bit of it underneath. Yes, I am going to wear eyeshadow. Let's get this on. So let me tell you a little bit about one of my stories. Okay, the first story that I want to tell you about was I had the day planned yesterday and it just didn't work out exactly the way I wanted it. So I had paused the video and said, well, I'll come back to it. And being the fact that it was a Friday and that, it was Halloween, we decided, my husband and I decided that we were going to call in to pick up some subs at our favorite place. But we have to drive a half an hour to get there. And we don't mind because we don't have any kids living at home and we get to talk in the car and things like that. Well, we got to the next town over into Massachusetts, which we had to go through. We have to go through on this side of town where we live into Mass and then back into New Hampshire. I know that sounds crazy, but that's just how the highway goes. And we got into the neighboring town, and there were a line of cones down the center of the road. And I said to my husband, what the heck is this? Don't tell me. Don't tell me they have the road blocked off for trick-or-treat. And this was about 5:30 at night. Sure enough, we come to, across the road, a fire truck with an officer standing there. That man wasn't an officer. He was just a volunteer. But there were officers everywhere. And he said, okay, you guys, this is trick-or-treat. He asked us first, are you trick-or-treating? And we said, no. He said, well, you're going to take this right, go down the road, take a left, take a left, and another right, and you'll be back on where you got to go. So we figured, no big deal, right? Thank you, sir. We start driving in this narrow country road where all of these other people are coming from the other direction to bypass the town, the main street of this town, trick-or-treating. So it was full of potholes, winding up and down hills and around, and oh yeah, it's just a left and a right. No. This was a 20-minute excursion. So what normally took us a half hour to get to where we got to go, it literally took us an hour. And we had called our order in, and we asked, you guys, because it's Halloween, do you guys have a long line of people? Nope. It's going to take about 30 minutes. And we're like, oh, that's perfect. We get there, and they hadn't even started my husband's grinder. Or sub, as you would call it, and my sub. Half an hour we had to wait there in the parking lot. Then there was another way that we could go home, but my husband said, oh, they must be done trick-or-treating by now, seeing how it's late. They're not going to keep their kids out. And I said, well, I don't know. It's a Friday night. It's not like this is a school night. So back we go in the same direction that we came, and sure enough, we got detoured. Same deal, but going in the other direction. An hour excursion to go pick up subs and bring them home took us over 2 hours. And then by the time I got home, had my sub, and sat down, I was like, I'm not finishing my video. I guess I'm just going to have to, put this video up on All Saints Day. And in a way, it's kind of all connected anyway. So here I am. But that was the story for yesterday. And typically what we do on a Halloween night, if it's a Friday night, if it's a weeknight, we don't do anything. But if it's a Friday, Saturday, or Saturday night, we will jump in my husband's truck and we will go hang out. Like, we will drive by cemeteries and just kind of pull over and sit in the dark, see if we can see. I mean, it's just something fun that we do. We go by houses that have, notoriety for being haunted. And there is one just over the border into Fitzwilliam, New Hampshire, that the paranormal investigators, remember that show that was on TV several years ago, over 10 years ago? It was on every week, and we used to watch it. Well, they hosted a house, a 200-something-year-old house in Fitzwilliam, New Hampshire. You can go on the website. You can find it. I think it might even be on YouTube. And you can watch that actual investigation. But this particular house has been known to have a little boy dressed in early 1800s clothing seen walking between that house and another house. The houses are very close together in the center of this town, which is, the center is extremely small. And so people have seen this little boy walking in between, it's like an alleyway almost, with, it's grassy, and they've seen him walking. Some people have even mentioned that they've seen him staring out the window of this particular house. I'm going to put a little bronzer underneath my chin. I'm using my Believe Beauty bronzer. I've showed it many, many times, but this works the best for me. I've been trying other bronzers. This is a neutral shade, and it just works so well with my skin. Once I put it under my chin like that, and then I drag it down and kind of blend it in with my foundation, then I just brush it up, so I don't have these defining lines. See the difference? You don't see my double chin. It's there, but this really takes care of it. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this, and I'm just going to put it right here on either side. One swipe and another swipe. I am not going to put my eyeshadow on with you guys. I'm going to put on eyeshadow, and I'm also going to put on eyeliner, and I'm going to use my Disney Winnie the Pooh Happy Halloween palette. Basically, I only use this for the fall and sometimes for the winter. It has barely been used, but you can see where I've used it. And so for today, I'm going to use this shade right here, which is an orange. I'm going to use this shade right here in the crease, and probably either one of these two shades under my eyebrow. So I'm going to do that off camera, and I'm also going to put my mascara on off camera because I want the focus right now to be on the 3 new blushes that I got that I mentioned a little bit earlier. And these blushes are called the Blessing blushes. There's 3 in a pack. I paid around $6 for them. This is the component. It's just such a beautiful package. It has a little mirror on the top. This is the cover that you screw off, which exposes the puff. Inside the component, you take the little plastic insert out, and it reveals a hole inside the puff to distribute the powder. So what you do, this shade is called Coral Red. What you do is you pound the puff. See, you can see it on my hand. You could even see it puffing out. And you get some on the puff. This is the shade. And I'm going to pounce this on my cheeks. And we're going to see how this turns out. So you can see my bronzer or contour. And I did not blend it. I just swiped it. So I'm going to pound gently. Check that out. Now, I did get these on Temu. I told you guys I wasn't going to get any makeup on Temu, or any products rather on Temu, but I needed new underwear, and I haven't been able to find better underwear than the underwear that I purchase on Temu. So while I was in there, I looked to see what there was on clearance for makeup, and I got all 3 of these blushes. They come in a set for $6. So that's $2 a piece. But look at this. Isn't this pretty? How easy is that? And if you want a little more to come out, you can actually see the hole. You can see that it's darker in the center. If you want a little more to come out, you just pound it in your hand. And then if you're, you know, on the go and you throw this in your purse, there's a little mirror. If I want to be really picky about it, I can take my Doll 10 blush. If I want to be really picky about it, I can take my Doll 10 brush and just kind of blend all of it together. But let's just say you don't have any makeup on and you want a little bit of color. These are really great to just throw in your purse. Really great. Okay, I think that's it. My eyebrows, the foundation, which is lovely. If you only use 2 pumps, and then I used a little bit more to cover up some other areas and go down my neck. If you only use 2 pumps, I think that you will enjoy it. Okay, my friends, I'll see you in a bit when I have the rest of my makeup on, and we will call it a day. Okay, my friends, this is the finished look. This is the eyeshadow. I used my Makiage eyeliner, but then I tossed it in the trash because I've used it a lot and I was really struggling to get the liquid out, so it's gonzo. I used the Firworks mascara by Maybelline, and I used the Melissa's Coral Red lipstick because I thought that this shade would go really nicely with my costume. And the blushes. So I did get 3 blushes. The Coral Red, which I used, which is interesting, same shade as the lipstick. This one is a rose pink. And this one is autumn berry. So not bad for $6. If you can't handle the powder, then you might not want to get it. But I think it looks beautiful. And I think it comes out beautiful as well. Go on Temu. They are called Blush Blessings. And I think you'll be able to find them. But they were on clearance, so they might be all gone. If you go on Disney's makeup, you might be able to still get this. It's really nice. And that's it. It was so nice being with you today. So nice seeing you. Be well, be blessed, be beautiful, because you are, because there is nobody else on the planet like you. And above all else, take care of yourselves. And in today's world, choose peace and to be safe. Until we see each other again with some more makeup or a card reading. Know that I love ya. Bye-bye.